Good afternoon. It is Wednesday the 13th of May and this is a better late than never Flosstube number 6. So hello and welcome to my Flosstube. If you're new here, thank you so much for joining me. I am Sharon and I go under the name Sharon_Stitchedoodle here and on Instagram. I'm also a small business owner where I design all sorts of cross-stitch patterns and notebooks. Why can I never remember what I do? Notebooks and pens and all sorts of things. I'll leave the link below if you fancy going over and having a look. I will showcase some of my newest designs much later on in this, so I don't bore you with all the business stuff. But anyway, this is 2 weeks later than normal. There's just been a lot going on, health-wise, appointment-wise, birthdays, just all sorts going on, and I was just not feeling it. I have a few chronic illnesses that kind of feed into chronic fatigue syndrome, and I have been in a bit of a slump the past couple of weeks. It's so difficult to drag you out of it. It's not a case of having just a long lie or an early night. It is just a complete feeling of, ugh, the batteries have ran out. So here we are today. Doctor's appointment this morning, had a checkup, a few referrals, all sorts. So I thought, let's do this or we're never going to do it. So I've got loads to share with you because it has been 6 weeks. So there's whips and stats and finishes and fully finishes and a little thing to tell you about a wee group of setup. There's haul. I was supposed to be doing a no by April, but there's haul, so let's get started, will we? So in the month of April, because we're in May, the month I stitched 23,856 stitches. I stitched every single day in April. You will see why later on. I did kind of go a bit stitch mad. No wonder I'm fatigued. I've not done nearly as many as that this month. But yeah, let's start with the whips. First and foremost is the temperature. And I have finished April, not started May. So yeah, staying quite consistent. We had a few days where we stayed the same temperature, which was quite good. I have been logging the temperatures for May so far, and it is a real mixed bag. It is definitely going to be the coat of many colours for this month. But yeah, coming on well. Really enjoying doing that. So I will get that updated for next month. Now, will we go whips? The box seems to be growing. I seem to add a new whip every month. I don't have any new starts. It just seems to keep growing. So first and foremost is Time Traveller by Joan Elliot. That's what she will look like when she's completed. This is what she looked like last month. And here is where she's at now. So I will put all the stats, the percentages on screen as we go through. So I've started her little dress down here. The jacket's come in, her face. So yeah, she's had quite a lot of work on her this month. So that is Time Traveller by Joan Elliot. And I'll pop that over there. Next up, we have Quakers in Scotland by Tempting Tangle Designs. I absolutely love this. This is just so nice. Quaker designs are all the rage at the moment. Sorry, am I cut? Yeah, this is cutting off at all the light. Sorry. So that is Quakers in Scotland. Here's where we were at last month. And here is where I am at now. So I filled in the rest of the water here. I'm trying to fill in everything else before I start on the ship. But yeah, it's coming along. It's looking really, really good. So that's that one. I've still got the squeaky chair. If you've been here before, you'll know about the chair. And if you have been here before, you'll notice there's been a bit of a change. Looking back on previous Flosstubes, I realised it was quite dark. There was a bright window right behind me and the lighting was not great. So I've kind of moved the furniture around a bit, probably another reason I'm so fatigued, and put up some more artwork so you can see lots of my stitching around me. So yeah, it's lighter, it's brighter. I've got a light right in front of me that I keep blocking when I'm holding up charts. Hey ho, we'll get through it. So next is Dream Raven, and I've got the sweatshirt to match. And this is one of my own designs. So this is what he looked like last time. And this is where he's at now. I've actually started the Raven. Finally. I've still got in all these feathers to fill in, but I think I'll leave these for days where I'm just not in the mood for counting, and I'll get these done. But yeah, so happy with this. This is going to fill in this area here. Lots of blacks and greys, but it's coming along, and it will exactly match this Raven here. So that is Dream Raven. Next is my Bailey boy. So this was the photograph of Bailey, and I have charted him with a watercolour effect, brightened up some of the colours, you know, to make him look really good. And I've restarted him. I originally started him on a 14 count oatmeal, but the holes were really, really big. I'm quite a tight stitcher, and so it was beginning to look a bit gappy. So I did a restart, and I measured, and I measured, and I measured, and I measured, and I still managed to go off centre. So yeah, not a lot here, but there is enough. There is enough to frame him. And I have invested in one of these little things from Love POPPET. So that's a 3-inch gauge, so you can get your corner straight away. I do have these in my shop. So handy dandy little tool. And this is Bailey. I'm kind of going up and round, not really a typewriter method, but more a rainbow. Just keep filling in the stitches as they go, growing more and more. So that is my little Bailey boy. Next is the Beasties sampler. This is another one of my designs. In Scotland, it doesn't matter what it is, it's a beastie. Big beastie, wee beastie, flying beastie, scary beastie. They're all just beasties. So this is where it was last time, and this is where it is now. And I've actually stitched 2 of the butterflies onto perforated PVC, so when I put these on, they'll have a bit more depth to them. But funny story, I was stitching this the other night, and I was stitching up here in the dragonfly with 958 or 968, whatever the colour of that one is, and I was watching Sarah Stitchybug, and she had mentioned that exact colour. She had just stitched with it too, and I messaged her. I was like, that's really spooky. I'm just stitching with that colour myself. So there we go. That is the Beastie sampler. I've used beads, and I've done some French knots, and then I'll have some 3D butterflies to go on there as well. So that's coming along great. I have had progress on everything this month, which is really, really good. Next one is my glimpse of Wonderland, and this is Alice with her big glass of red wine, or Ribena, whatever. And here is where she was last time, and this is where she is now. So I've got her face. I always like to get the faces done first, give them a bit of character, because they get a bit spooky if they've only got arms and legs and no face. So that is Alice. So that is it for the whips. I do have another one on here. Look, I've measured. I'm going to measure and measure and measure. I'm going to start in the centre and work out. I better tell you what it is I'm going to start next. So this is the only digital chart I've bought this month. So this is technically haul, but this is Elvis. It's the 50th anniversary of Elvis's passing next year, and I wanted to do something really momentous. I grew up with Elvis. My dad was a huge Elvis fan. My husband's a huge Elvis fan. My son plays Elvis on the guitar. So, you know, he's been a big part of our lives, and I could have got a generic Elvis image, but I might as well have just got a poster. But this was something just a little bit different, a little bit special. 300 by 300, biggest one I've done so far. But luckily, out of the 96 colours it needs, I only needed to buy 10. So that's really not too bad. That's really good going. So not really an expensive haul. I thought I did quite well there. So that's a little cheeky peek at haul there. Put that over there. Now, what's next on the list? Because I have got a list. It's been 6 weeks. I have to keep the list going. So we've done that. We've done that. We've done that. Now, I've also had a couple of starts and finishes this month. So I fancy doing a couple of little ones because everything I've got is quite a large design. So there goes the Flosstube itchy nose. So this one is out of a World of Cross Stitching magazine. And then it is a little mouse in a matchbox. Stitched up really quickly and then the back stitch. I'm not a huge fan of back stitch, but it does make this design. But a lot of it it's that kind of sketchy back stitch, so it doesn't just go over one or two, it kind of goes off on a tangent, so it's quite loopy. But no, he's so cute. I'm not sure what I'm going to do with him. I was thinking about maybe, mounting him as a flat fold and putting him on a box, but we'll see. I've no idea. No idea at all. And if I can find out which issue, I'll put that in the notes. So that is that one. And then there's this little one here. Out my window, I've got a huge blossom tree. You wouldn't know it's a blossom tree now because there's no blossom left. And I found this little sprite image on Etsy. I'll leave the link below. And he stitched up really, really quickly. So that's my little blossom sprite. And that's a finish. Again, not sure what I'm going to do with it. And now, if you've been here before, you'll realise there is a whip missing. And the reason, that's the word I'm looking for, that there is a whip missing is because, let's see if we can get her away from the light. I'm going to put up here where she was last month. And the first 2 weeks of April, I just went for it big time. She had about 12,000 stitches left to do, and I just went for it big time. Didn't stitch anything else, but focused on this. The frame is from a shop on Etsy called Frame as a Shop. I'll put the link below, but absolutely fantastic frame and mount. I've just stretched around, taped her down. I will put more tape on the back before I put the hanging string up. But isn't she just stunning? Absolutely gorgeous. Can't stop looking at her. She's just amazing. 72,000 stitches. But yeah, she is a real work of art. Absolutely love her. So that is my big finish. Now, I had a thought. Yes, it happens sometimes. And I have set up a little Facebook group just where stitches can get together and share their projects, share their ideas, share their whip, enable other people if they find a good bargain, a good deal, which I will come to in my haul, which inspired this. So I'll leave the link below. It's called Stitchedoodle Stitchers. There are some free charts in there as well that I've designed and uploaded. So just members of this group can get that. Please answer the security questions. Nothing too difficult. I'm not asking anything really silly. I just want to know that it is proper cross-stitchers that are joining the group, or crafters at least, that are joining the group that want to be inspired and just have a chit-chat and share all their cross-stitch news. So I'll leave the link below for that. That's going to be a big note this week because there's a lot of links for a lot of different things going in there. So there is that. And next thing, I did say in my last Flosstube that if I got to 400 subscribers, then I would do another giveaway. So that, I thankfully have made it over the 400. It did go kind of 408, 404, 407, 406. But yeah, I haven't checked this morning, so I'm assuming we're still over the 400. And so I got this chart. This was part of a mystery box that I've had, and it's from Letistitch. It's all sealed. It's got all the authenticity on it, and it's called Blooming Garden. Let's see if we can do that without. It looks like it's a full coverage, and it is 143 by 141, and it requires 50 DMC colours. But yeah, really, really pretty. I just won't have time to stitch it. So hopefully someone there will. There's some chickens in the garden there. Some blossom trees before they lost all their petals. So in the comments, if you can leave the word garden, don't leave anything like giveaway or free stuff or prize, because that just attracts bots and we don't want that. I want a stitchy chart to go to a stitchy person. So I will pull the winner in my next Flosstube, or maybe the one, because that's only 2 weeks away. So we'll see how it goes. Depends on how many there are. If there are quite a few in the next couple of weeks, I will pick a winner. If not, I'll leave it till the next one to give everyone a chance to catch up, because I know there's a lot of fantastic Flosstubers out there and a lot to catch up on, because I think a lot of people are doing May Madness and May Mania and all sorts of things. I don't get involved in them because I just like stitching what I like stitching at any given time. So there we go. Free chart, not free chart, giveaway chart. Leave the word garden in the comments and we'll pick a winner for that. Now, next, oh dear, it's the haul. It is time for the confession. Here we go. There's a bundle, and there's stories to all the bundles. So, I saw on Facebook, which is what inspired me to, God, it's all falling everywhere, which is what inspired me to start a group. I was in a group and someone had mentioned an absolute bargain on Ready Cut. You were getting 2 cross-stitch books for £2 plus postage. That was it, just £2. So if it's still available, I will put the link below. It was still there last week. But for £2, you get two whole cross-stitch books. Two whole cross-stitch books. And, you know, they're chunky books. So I'll let you see. Thankfully, they've put all the charts right in the beginning. So I'll let you see what is in them. Even if you want to do them for giveaways or table gifts at retreats or a gift for a stitchy friend. You know, that is the ones in that one. I love this one with the double-decker buses down here. And that one is called Stunning Scenery by Maria Diaz. So a big name in the cross-stitch world. And the second one is Pretty Stitches by Jane Schofield. And again, I shall let you see without letting you see the charts. This one is really pretty. There's quite a lot in there I would like to stitch. There's also quite a few baby samplers. That's not something you see an awful lot of. But yeah, these are lovely. So £2 for 2 books plus postage. So I think it came to about £6.95 in total for 2 books, which just perfect. So that was that. That was too good to pass up. And then I've lost my little threads. One moment. Right, so I'm so easily enabled. I was watching Lauren, Cross Stitch Bunny, and her last Flosstube, and she was talking about Unicy Stitch. I know she's got lots and lots of the little 3-dimensional decorations. And so she used to get together with a friend and they were ordered because they're from far-flung land, and so postage was quite expensive. But in her latest Flosstube, she announced that Rachel from Talking Dog Stitchery, who I know you're all familiar with, was stocking a little amount of them. So I paused her video and I went flying over to Talking Dog Stitchery. Quite a few were sold out, and I know why, because every other Flosstube I've seen, they've got them. and I managed to get my hands on two. So I have got Night and Day, Enchantress of the Night and Enchantress of the Day. And these are amazing little boxes. I shall give you a wee look to see what's in one. So there is a little bag. You've got needles, threads, beads, gems, jewels, everything you need for it. That is a full image of what it will look like. Then we've got, helps if I put it down. The instructions for where to hang things and sew things in. You've got the chart, fleeting moment, and then you've got all the flosses. So even the fancy ones, the gold filament. And then you get this little 3-dimensional enchantress. So she's already shaped. She's got all the little holes in it, and she's a good size, palm of my hand. And then you also get the felt to put on the back that fits exactly, so you don't even have to trim it. And then there is the little stand that she stitches in once you've stitched her. So I thought these were so nice. There's a few other ones that I want to get my hands on, so I will be keeping an eye. But yeah, day and night, and hopefully she will get lots more in for us crafters. So that is that. Also from Talking Dog Stitchery and enabled by Stitchybug Sarah is my first ever fancy flosses. This is the first subscription for Weeks Dye Works. I've only gone for the 5 to start with. You can do 5 or 10, and there are other brands available. So this is I think they come in alphabetical, so that's Amethyst. It's gorgeous. They are absolutely gorgeous. Then there's this one which is Amber. Hook that back and go back around there. So you've got Amber. Then there is Adobe. That's like red brick. It's got some variegation in it. Absolutely lovely. And then there's Absinthe. That is definitely Absinthe. That'll be a great one for Halloween designs. And then the most beautiful blue called Americana. So that's my first 5. I'll stick with 5 just now till I figure out what I'm actually going to do with them. But I had FOMO. I was missing out. Everyone was getting these and I was missing out. So there we go. I also subscribe to Coffee Craft Fabrics to get fabrics of the month, because a lot of the fabric I've got is just white cream Aida, your usual basic run-of-the-mill Aida. I wanted fancy ones because everybody's got fancy ones. So in April, she did 2. And look how different are they. How beautiful. This is the first one, which is all kind of lilacs in greens and yellows. Her fabrics are just stunning, and they all come serged as well. So I have no plans with what to do with them just yet, but as soon as I find something, I will know. And then this one, this could either be sunshine or Halloween. Look at that. So that's the 2 subscriptions I've got. Hopefully I won't do any more. I think that's quite enough. I've got enough to be stitching and enough to be paying for. And then I am a huge fan of Letistitch, and I've also signed up to be an affiliate. So everything's down in the description. Using my code, my name, which is Sharon Duncan, all in capital letters, you can get 20% off, which is a huge discount at Letistitch. and I get a little kickback from that, and it just builds up in my account. So I had an email the other day to say that I had earned nearly £25 commission. There had been quite a lot of orders, so thank you so much. So I will use that money to kind of reinvest in charts and kits and things to give away, like I showed earlier, and I bought another mystery box. So this was a smaller mystery box this time, and these are the two I received. So there's this one which is called Walk as One. Nice wintry one. And it comes with all the threads. And the next one was a fairy. And that is a beautiful multicoloured one. And again, all the threads, fancy flosses. And I contacted Letistitch to ask if there was any chance they had PDFs for them, because I am a pattern keeper girly, and they did, and they sent them over straight away. So that was really, really good. So if you fancy a discount, pop down below. I'll put the link to Letistitch, and I'll also put the discount code. And just know that I do get a kickback from it, but I will use that to reinvest and have things like giveaways and prizes and unboxings and all sorts of things. So that is for that one. I feel like I'm rattling through this really quick because I'm aware it's quite a lot to go through, and I don't want to keep you hanging on for hours and hours. So last but not least are my new designs. Like I said at the start, I am a designer of cross stitch. I have been a designer for many, many years in many, many guises, whether that's in an eBay shop. Back in the 90s, I used to have an eBay shop where I sold patterns, paper patterns then, because we didn't do digital back then. And I've also got an Etsy shop and a main website. I'll put all the links below. And these are my latest designs. And for the next, I think, the next week or so, there is a discount running on Etsy. Yes, I'm sure I've got a discount running on Etsy. There's a sale on Etsy at the moment. So head over there. I'm sure there's a sale on Etsy. If not, nip below. I have activated a discount code for people who watch my Flosstube, and just put the code Flosstube in either on my Etsy shop or on my main shop, and you'll get 10% off. On my main shop, there's a lot more things in there. There are notebooks and pens and all sorts of things there that you would get the 10% off too. So head over there, get yourself a wee discount. But my new designs from my Nutty Nook range, you'll see them in the main shop. It's these two guys. Look, there's the little red squirrel, little grey squirrel. One's got conkers or chestnuts, and the other one's got little acorns. So I designed these over the weekend. I've started stitching them up. There's no back stitch in them because I'm not a huge fan of back stitch. I just want things to stitch up and be done. So that's these guys. And then I had a moment of inspiration while I was stitching the other night and realised how much of my hair gets stitched into every piece. A little special piece of me. So I wrote a little poem, and it's really silly. It says, I'm going to let you read it there. I can't read it because it's now backwards on screen. So it is woven together with love and care, a whole lot of joy and occasional hair. Counting and frogging with little crosses, shiny needle and fancy flosses. Now, as I was writing this, okay, could I think of a word that rhymes with crosses? I mean, I don't know where the inspiration came from, but I just could not think of what rhymes with crosses. So there we go there. So that's just a little stitcher sampler. Back stitch on the lettering because I didn't want to do that in all stitching or it would have been huge. And just some little elements here, some fancy floss. There's some little scissors, some little bobbins there. So that is available now to stitch. I will be stitching that up again, adding that to my never-ending list of things to stitch. And if you've enjoyed watching this, I will be doing more. I'm thinking about going to every 2 weeks, says me that hasn't done one for 6 weeks, because I do seem to accumulate an awful lot of stuff. And I always think I'm never going to be able to chat for longer than 10 minutes, but I do. So if you enjoyed this and you want to keep watching, then please like and subscribe, hit the little notification bell to be told when there will be more Flosstubes uploading. You know, share it with your other Flosstube friends. Anyone I've mentioned, any shops I've mentioned, everything will be in the show notes below. And hopefully I will see you all. I'm due to do one at the beginning of June, so that will be 2 weeks' time. But anyway, thank you so much for watching. I'm off to make a cup of tea, get this edited, and get it up for you to watch. But then you'll all already have watched it by the time you hear me say this. So anyway, thank you so much for watching. See you all soon.